Hey everyone, I hope you are safe and doing good. So in the series of learning Python programming language, we are discussing polymorphism in Python. In the previous video, we have seen duck typing in Python, means how using duck typing we can implement polymorphism. Now the next way to implement polymorphism is operator overloading. So this thing we'll see in this video. What is operator overloading and how you achieve this thing? How you do operator overloading in your program and how using that thing you can achieve polymorphism, and what are some advantages of using this operator overloading. Right now, first thing we'll understand what is operator overloading. See, I hope when I say operator means what pictures comes in your mind. Plus, minus, into, divide, these are operators, right? Overloading means what? See, let's take a simple real life example. If I ask you the sitting capacity of a bike, on a bike how many person can sit? You will say 2%, or at max, if there is a critical situation, then at max 3 persons on a bike. But sometime you must have seen this thing, like on a bike 4% are sitting, or even 5% are sitting, 5 to 6. One is on that tank fuel, and the driver is also like this, and 3% behind the driver like this. Means when we see such kind of see in such kind of bike, then we generally say that the bike is overloaded. Means bike is performing beyond its capabilities. The capability of a bike is, the sitting capacity of a bike is only 2%, and they are sitting 5%, and still the bike is performing, means they are going somewhere. So the bike is performing beyond its predefined capabilities. In general, overloading means like this. Same thing we can apply with operator. Operator overloading means that operator that is being overloaded, that operator performs beyond its predefined capabilities. Now what does that mean? If I say plus, what comes in your mind means it is going to add. Like if I say 1 plus 2, then it is going to add to integer like 3, addition. And if I use this plus with string, like these are two strings, and I'm going to use this with plus with these two strings, means now the answer is it is going to concatenate these two strings, Jenny Khatri. Or if I write something like this, 1 plus 2, what would be the answer? You can write down in comment section. Now the 1 is string, 2 is string, because these are in double quotes, or maybe you write these in single quote. This is also considered as string. What would be the answer? 1 2 1 2. It's not 3. So the operator is same, plus plus, but if the operand are integer, it is performing something different. If the operand are string, it is performing some different operation. Means this plus is overloaded by int class as well as by str class. See, in Python everything is object. So int is a class, here str is also a class. So this plus is overloaded. Same with like this multiplication operator. 1 into 2, it is going to multiply. But if you use this with any like string into 3, then it will print Jenny 3 times like this. The star is also overloaded by int class as well as by str class, right? But what if I have a class? Because generally this polymorphism, this type of concept is in object-oriented programming, and there we deal with class and objects. So can we add two objects? If I have a class, suppose I have a class person, I have created two objects P1 and P2 of this class, and I want to add these two objects. Can we add this thing? I don't know, maybe. Let's see this practically. Okay, then you will get it better. What is operator overloading, how you can overload an operator, and what are the advantages of operator overloading. I hope you got the basic idea, the definition of or the general meaning of operator overloading. Okay, now let's see practical. Okay, so let's create a new file, operator overloading.py, right? Now see, let me just first tell you that overloaded plus operator. See, now you can see the difference here. I'm using this plus with int as well as with str. See the output now. First will give 3 and the next line will give 1 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, but this 1 and 2 are string, so here the plus is performing as concatenation. So 1 and 2. Okay, so this plus is overloaded by int class as well as by str class. Now see what is happening behind the scene. If you write this plus, means behind the scene there is some method which is to be called, that is add method. Okay, now those methods are special methods or magic method, because how we are going to overload these operator. Before that you have to understand what are some special methods. So these are called magic method, or these are called dunder methods. These are short form of double underscore method. Like you have seen this method, underscore underscore init, this. These dunder methods begin with double underscore and with double underscore. So init is dunder method or special method or magic method, you can say. Every time you call object, this method is to be called. Same we have add method. Whenever this plus, you write this plus, behind the scene this add method is going to be called. If you write minus, then for that also we have this method, sub method is being called. Behind the scene what is happening, that is I'm telling you right now. So see, I can show you. Plus these 1 and 2 are int, so we have an int class, int dot see this and this add method, dunder method on this int class. Okay, we have init, we have dir, mro, many methods are there. Okay, many magic method or special methods are there. So right now we are dealing with this, we are dealing with add. So like this, and it will take two arguments, one is self, one is other, right? So if you want to print addition of 1 and 2, so rather than this line, we can also write down this thing, int dot, we can call add method, and we can pass simply 1 and 2. It will give same result, 3. So as I told you, when you write down this plus, behind the scene this add method is being called. Okay, so this add method is on int class as well as in str class. See, str dot, we have this method add. Self and s2 is going to be passed, 2 parameter, right? So here if I pass like 1, 2, and if I print rather than this line, so you will get what result? See, 3 and 1, 2. Now here, I think you got it. These are some special methods. Okay. Now when you use this method, that also I'll tell you. So same, if I take one object, if I take another example, if I have a class, I hope you have heard or you have used complex number. Okay. We write something like this, like maybe 3 plus 2 and I is iota. This is complex number. So this 3 is real part, this 2 is imaginary part. And if we have 2 complex number, like 2 iota, and if you are going to add these 2 complex number, then what would be the output? Real part would be added to real part. 3 plus 1 is 4 plus 4 iota. This would be the output. Okay. Now let's see. I have a class complex number, and there I am having 2 thing, real and imaginary. So let's pass 2 parameter. We have suppose r and I only, and I'm taking, sorry, not def, it should be self dot, one argument is real equal to whatever r you will pass, and that self dot imaginary is equal to whatever the value I you will pass. So this is the number, right? And I'm creating 2 objects of this complex number. In first I am passing 1, 2, and in second object 4, 5, right? And I want to add these 2 complex numbers. So simply if I say, if I write something like this, like print C1 plus C2, can I add these 2 objects of this class directly, C1 plus C2? I don't know. Let's run this. No. It will give type error. See, it is giving type error. Unsupported operands for plus, complex number and complex number. When you add 2 number, 1 plus 2 means operand 1, operand 2. So you are passing integer. When you are passing the operand Jenny plus Khatri, you are passing string operand. That is also fine because plus is defined for str class also. It knows what to do with if string is passed, if integer is passed. But it is not defined for these operands, for these type of operands. When we pass object, any object of this type, complex number, the Python interpreter doesn't know what to do because this plus is not defined on these types, because type of these operand is complex number. Okay. Now we can overload this plus operator. How? Using that dunder method, that special method add, because automatically if you add two integers, then behind the scene the add method is going to be called, right? So in add method it is defined what is to be executed when you call add, when you call plus with integer. So we can modify that add method. We can define our own add method for these objects. Okay. So let's define that special method add. And this method obviously will take two arguments. One is self, one is other, right? So self and other. If you don't want to take this other, anything you can take. Self is as it is, but if you want to take like any name, X, A, B, C, anything you can take. Simply I am taking only other, right? Now I want to add these two numbers, means the answer should be real part would be added to real part, imaginary part would be added to imaginary part. This thing you want, right? So when you call this, when you write this plus, means by default this add method would be called, right? So C1 means this 1 and 2 would be passed. So 1 is what? Like real part and 2 is imaginary part, right? So self means this C1 object, other means C2 object, right? So ultimately what you want to do? I'm not writing the proper syntax here. First let's understand what you want to do. The real part of C1 plus real part of C2, right? So self dot real, because attribute name is real and imaginary, self dot real plus C2 object is in other here in this parameter other. So plus other dot real, self dot real plus other dot real. And second thing, self dot imaginary plus other dot imaginary, right? These two things we want, and obviously the output should be something like this: 5 plus 7 iota. Okay. So now you have to frame that kind of output. So this you can do this thing with many methods. I'm just going to tell you one way. So I'm going to return, and with the help of f string I want to do this thing. Just first take the value, whatever the value in this, then obviously when you add, then 5, then plus 7 iota. So this plus is that plus. Okay. Then imaginary part, this value would be from here, right? And then at last iota is also would be printed. So that's it, what you are getting. See, now see, 5 plus 7 iota. Now it is not giving any error. That plus is adding these two complex numbers, because we have overloaded this add method. We have given our own definition to this add method. So whenever you will write this plus, now this add method would be called, not that was predefined by int class or str class. This add method would be called, right? And in this add method we have defined our own thing. We have given our own definition. So now it's working fine on the object as well. So this is what operator overloading. We have overloaded this plus operator. This plus operator is performing beyond its predefined capabilities, right? Now you can do this with other way also, like with the help of str rather than f string. Just convert this addition into str, this addition into str, and then just concatenate this plus this I, concatenate these things, right? This is assignment for you guys. You have to try that method. You can write down the logic in comment section. See, this is the second way, return. You can just convert this thing into str, this thing into str. Then you can concatenate iota with this, and you can obviously concatenate this plus also, this plus, because this plus is not actually plus. We are not doing any plus here. We are concatenating these two strings. So just this plus is concatenating this string and this string. This plus is concatenating this string and this string. Okay, let's run this and see, you will get same answer, 5 plus 7 item. So either this way or this way you can do this thing. Okay, now one quiz for you is, one assignment for you is, or one challenge for you is, you have to overload greater than operator. Just create a class, two person in that object, create two objects of that class person, 2 person with name and age. The one who is elder is going to pay the bill. So you have to compare the age of 2 person. So pause the video and try this out. I hope you have done this. So let's create a class, and in it, in constructor, I am having 2 parameter, name and age. So attribute name, same I am taking name and age. You can take different also, it's up to you. Name and age. Okay, and let's create 2 person of this class, and let's like pass so we have created 2 objects, Ram Sham having 32 age, 23 age. So I want to compare these two. If this P1 is greater than P2, the one who is elder is going to pay the bill. If P1 is greater than P2, means you just print the name of that person. Name of that person, P1 Ram. Now it should print Ram will pay the bill, this thing. So using f string we can fetch the name of that object. P1 dot name will pay the bill. Else second person will pay the bill. Same with f string, else P2 dot name will pay the bill. I hope this is not so much tough. But directly we cannot obviously compare to these we can say objects. See, not supported between instance of person and person, this greater than this operator. So this thing I'm telling you why, because it's not like that we can overload only these operator, plus, minus or arithmetic operator. No, we can overload comparison operators as well. Okay, so we can overload bitwise operator as well. So let's overload this greater than operator in this class. So for that we have, see, I'm going to show you first. In int class we have gt, this greater than. When we use this greater than symbol, behind the scene this method is called. So 2 arguments you need to pass, self and one is x or other. For less than, it's lt. For less than equal to also we have le, something like this. So we can overload comparison operator as well. So let's overload this. GT or LT you can overload. So GT, this self and others. So person, when you use this thing, means rather than this greater than, this method is to be called P1 is now self, P2 is now other. So let's take the age of P1 and P2 and compare. So just we can compare, like if self dot age greater than other dot age, then return true, else simply return false. return, it's return, and return false. So this is how we can overload greater than operator, right? So now when this line is to be executed, then Python interpreter will call this GT. So P1 dot age means 32, P2 dot age means other is P2 dot age is 23. So 32 greater than 23, yes, means it will return true. So now it will return true means this thing is going to be executed. So obviously it should print Ram will pay the bill. Now the one who is elderly is going to pay the bill. So see, Ram will pay the bill. Now it's working fine. We have overloaded this greater than operator as well. See, this greater than is working fine because now age, these two are int, and on int it is predefined. Greater than is already defined on int class, right? It's not defined on this person class, it's not defined. So that is why this we are defining here. But within this we are using this greater than. This is for int and int because the operands are int and int. So by default it will call at this point of time, it will call from the int class, the GT defined on the int class, right? That is to be called. And here on this greater than would be called this method, this GT that we have defined, right? Now what I hope you got what is operator overloading. Now what are the advantages of using this operator overloading? See, we can define, the developers can easily define these operators according to their self, according to their use or on their class, and obviously these methods are familiar to us. Plus, addition, comparison, all the arithmetic comparison, relational operators, these are familiar to us. So it's easy for us to write down the code, to maintain the code, and definitely it is going to improve the code readability because of the familiar operators, right? And obviously this overloading kind of concept allows developers to, create custom operations for their own classes. And definitely it is making these operators more powerful and flexible. This is definitely helpful when you deal in, scientific computing. Okay, so now in the next video we'll see method overloading and method overriding. So now I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.